So we're going to do a slightly different format than normal this time, where I'm going to explain what I do, demonstrate, and then tell you what's happening with the last one. But what we're going to cover here is painting an image in Inkarnate. All right, so what we're going to do with this is what we want is kind of a simplified map overview. We want it to be something that they can look at and kind of make determinations, but not be the graphic, kind of intense picture that we're looking to close at. So in this way, we made it look mostly like a portrait, or maybe even perhaps a map someone drew. And we can lower it down to even more basic or even more just symbology. Put a border around it, something like that. If you're trying to really nail the map look, we can go further. But if you have a kind of a basic overview like this, what we're going to do is save this as the where we're revealing the template from. And then we're going to use this same map and clone it. And I'm going to show you how to paint the more detailed map on top of this one. All right, so now that we have a colorized map and the non-colorized map, there's more features that we could layer onto this, but for demonstration purpose, we're going to go here. Now, what we're going to do is we want to save as a clone. And so this is the map base demo, but now this is going to be the map base demo color. So I'm just going to save this, and this is going to become its own file, and then we're going to extract it. Once I extract it, I am then going to save it into the texture profile, and I'll demonstrate how this happens. Okay, so the brief moment here. If I do this straight out the jar now, we can either do the front foreground or background, and paint on this. The other things won't just naturally disappear if I do that. So you can lay all the images onto the foreground, and then this will cause, like we can say flatten to foreground, and this will cause them to all become images sunk onto the picture. Now as we paint, it will just act as if, so I'm on foreground right now, it'll just act as if all of that is there. So then we can erase ourselves the painting. So let's say they start in this little village, and initially they're just doing missions for the village, and perhaps they have to go outside and investigate the other set of woods. We'd reveal the other set of woods to them. Now they want to cross the water. Perhaps they're just going across the next mainland. So we're going to reveal to them by going to background, and then deciding on where they travel out, probably from somewhere around here. They're going to travel up to the next location. And then once you've revealed that, you might even just say, hey, okay, like you're aware of the island nature now. Now, if you're not using hard borders like the foreground and background settings on this, then it works even better for exploratory purposes. Because then there's no hard lines even on the base map. The base map can be there, and you can just put some symbols here and there if you want. You can even just add to that other map and fill in the symbols, but you already have your detailed map in the background. So it depends on how expressive we want to get with that. But let's say they go over to the other area, and now they want to find that other city. They find out, oh, it's not quite exactly where we thought it was. It's actually over here. All right, so they've done some exploring to find the other location. And then they then go from there and figure out, well, we actually need to get down to this island. All right, so that involves some more water travel. I think you get where this is going. So at this point, we can just paint the more detailed image onto the, the more map or lower quality image. And then this lets you, even as the Dungeon Master, you can just paint what they've explored, and then they can go exploring and you can describe it to them. But then next week, you just paint over the area, the new areas they've been, and it reveals more and more locations in the map that way until eventually, you end up with everything. So we could take texture, and it's not like you can just draw images too. We can apply to the background and apply to the foreground. And so like you can see we can just pop it out. Now this is just the color image now, right? So we've completely removed any of the other background portions to that. But this is how you can basically paint in a more detailed map on top of a parchment map in Inkarnate.